In June 1941, with Europe at his feet and a truce with the Soviets in place, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, a colossal invasion that defied all logic and sealed his empire's doom. But why gamble everything on such a catastrophic Eastern Front? Hitler's invasion of the Soviet Union was fundamentally driven by a deeply entrenched ideological imperative rooted in race, space, and a perceived global struggle. Central to this was the concept of Lebensraum, living space, a core Nazi doctrine asserting Germany's right to acquire vast territories in Eastern Europe. These lands were earmarked for German settlement, agricultural expansion, and resource exploitation, predicated on the racist view of Slavic peoples as inherently inferior and suitable for subjugation. This ambition was inextricably linked to Hitler's fanatical anti-Bolshevism and obsession with racial purity. He equated communism with a Jewish Bolshevik conspiracy, seeing the Soviet Union not just as a political adversary, but as the ultimate ideological enemy that had to be utterly destroyed to preserve the Aryan race. Ultimately, Hitler perceived the invasion as an essential clash of civilizations, an existential battle against Judeo-Marxism for the very future of Germany and Western civilization itself. Beyond ideological fervor, a stark economic reality heavily influenced Hitler's decision. Germany's rapidly expanding war machine was consuming resources at an unsustainable pace, leading to an acute and escalating need for critical raw materials. Securing the vast oil fields of the Caucasus was paramount, alongside iron ore and various other minerals essential for fueling the Reich's industrial economy and military efforts. Furthermore, the fertile agricultural lands of Ukraine, famously known as the breadbasket of Europe, presented an irresistible opportunity to feed the German population and army, thereby alleviating domestic food shortages and enhancing Germany's self-sufficiency. Ultimately, Hitler envisioned the complete economic exploitation of the Soviet Union, integrating its immense potential into a German-dominated Greater German Reich to ensure an endless supply of resources and cheap labor. This profound economic desperation was a critical motivator for the invasion. Hitler's decision to invade the Soviet Union was underpinned by significant strategic miscalculations, chiefly the illusion of a swift and decisive victory. He held an absolute conviction that the USSR was merely a colossus with feet of clay, vulnerable to a rapid blitzkrieg campaign akin to Germany's prior successes. A key strategic driver was the ambition to secure Germany's eastern flank. Hitler believed that by quickly eliminating the Soviet threat, Germany could then fully concentrate its forces against Great Britain, thereby preempting or negating the possibility of a debilitating future two-front war. This entire premise, however, rested on a catastrophic underestimation of Soviet strength. The German High Command fundamentally misjudged the Red Army's formidable resilience, its vast reserves of manpower, the Soviet capacity for industrial relocation, and crucially, the unforgiving nature of Russia's immense geography and its notoriously harsh climate, all of which would prove fatal to the invasion's success. Beyond immediate needs, Hitler's invasion of the Soviet Union was deeply rooted in sweeping geopolitical ambitions for a Nazi-dominated new European order. The 1939 Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, a non-aggression agreement, was always viewed as a cynical, temporary measure, a mere deception to buy time and secure Germany's Western Front before the inevitable confrontation. Hitler never intended this opportunistic truce to last, seeing the Soviet Union as the ultimate ideological adversary and an immense obstacle to his long-term vision. He also genuinely feared that if left unchecked, the USSR would eventually grow too powerful, posing an insurmountable threat to Germany's future dominance in Eastern Europe. Therefore, the destruction of the Soviet Union became a critical prerequisite for establishing his vast continental empire, extending Germany's influence and control deep into the East, thereby ensuring its absolute hegemony and cementing the Third Reich's new order. This was about eliminating any rival power that could challenge his terrifying design for Europe. The lightning war mentality born from a string of astonishingly swift victories in Poland, France, and the Balkans, significantly fueled Hitler's decision. This success cultivated an almost unshakable belief in the Wehrmacht's invincibility and the overwhelming efficacy of blitzkrieg tactics, leading to severe operational overconfidence. Furthermore, Hitler held immense disdain for Soviet military leadership, convinced that Stalin's purges had crippled the Red Army's command structure and that its soldiers lacked German discipline and fighting spirit. This critical misjudgment compounded their hubris. Adding to this was a perceived race against time. Hitler felt an urgent need to strike before the Soviet Union could further modernize its vast military or before potential American intervention could complicate the global strategic landscape. This combination of past triumphs, contempt for the enemy, and a sense of urgency tragically underpinned the catastrophic gamble. Hitler's USSR invasion stemmed from ideology, greed, and miscalculation, dooming Germany. In your opinion, could his ambitions have been met without this fateful decision, or was it inevitable? Share your thoughts in the comments.